Hey, it's Diane from Teach Pre-K, and I want to show you some of my favorite polar animal crafts and kind of extra things I have in my 5-day lesson plans and things that I've added to my polar animal lesson plans along the way. I hope you like all these things. They're all super, super easy because I always do this unit my second week after winter break. And I don't want to do a lot of prep when I first get back. I just don't have the energy for it. So my first craft is super simple. It's just a paper plate, polar bear. So we ask for these paper plates as part of our school supply list at the beginning of the year. So I've got a ton of these on hand, which is why I do a lot of paper plate crafts. I just cut out the white circle ears, the eyes. We always have an abundance of black pom-poms because the kids like the colored ones the best. So we have a lot of black left over. And then these are cotton balls. I always get a lot of cotton balls at the beginning of the year from the dollar store because I know I'm going to use them a lot for crafts. So one thing that I use for most of the crafts you're going to see today is something that I think is a must-have for your classroom. They are these little circle punches. I have 4 different sizes. This one is a 2 1/4 inch. This one that you just heard clank is a 1 1/2 inch. And I love these because they're super strong and super sharp. You just put several thicknesses of construction paper or even several thicknesses of cardstock because these are so good. You push down and you get perfectly formed circles and perfectly cut. So what I love about this and having lots of different sizes is when I have to prep like what I'll show you, these penguins that have an outside white eye, inside is black. I can just sit here and punch these circles and get them done in no time flat. So it cuts my prep time down a lot. We had several of these donated because we had someone who worked for a company called Stampin' Up! And she had a ton, so she just donated them to the school. But I have since bought some other sizes just because I like them so much, and they saved me a ton of time. So I will put links to these. The ones I've ordered are from Amazon. So I've got 1/2 inch, 1 1/2, 2 1/4 inch circle punches, and there will be links in my description. So I will also give you the link to my 5-day lesson plan for polar animals because most of the templates for the things that you'll see are in there. Another thing I love, and I've made these every year, and I actually finally made a template for it, and it's in my lesson plan, are these penguin hats. So we make these little penguin hats. You see the outside circle and inside circle eyes. We just cut a 1/2 circle out of black construction paper. I don't know how we got this shape for the beak, but we cut beaks, and I always like 3-dimensional beaks. And the kids have their choice of making just a plain penguin like this, or we learn a lot about penguins, and we have a lot of penguin books, or they can make a macaroni penguin, which they think is so silly, macaroni penguin. And I just use some of this yellow curling ribbon to help make like the crown feathers of the macaroni penguin. I used to, as you can see, like staple lots of different lengths of construction paper or paper together. I have the best hack, the best. I get packets of sentence strips. We always have these in our school. Our school goes up to 8th grade, and the kindergarten teachers and 1st grade teachers use these like crazy. So I would borrow these, but then I just got a couple of packs of my own off Amazon. They're not very expensive, and you get several hundred in a pack. But these are great because they are long enough to fit around a child's head, and you usually need to trim a little bit off too. But I don't need to cut any more paper. So this has saved me time, and my circle punch has saved me time. So I don't need to cut these out. I don't need to take that extra step. So if you make cute little hats for your kids, like for community helpers or for your letter of the week, invest in some sentence strips. It's the best thing you'll be able to do for yourself. I showed this in my winter video. Excuse me. I made another one of these little scatter copy mini eraser activities where I just scatter them on the glass of the copy machine and then make several copies and laminate them. And then I put these erasers out and they match them up. I have these for both winter and polar animals. Those are my first 2 weeks after break, just because I know this is a good extra thing just to have on hand. I'm not going to do it 2 weeks in a row. The kids will get bored with it, but I've got it if I need it. Another thing I made years ago were these cute little cards, and I would make them completely differently now, but I don't need to because I have them. But they show the animals, the polar animals that change their fur to hide from predators in the winter. So I've got my Arctic fox in the summer and fall, and then my Arctic fox in the winter. The kids love this. I have a video that I show them too that I love. Here's the hare, and there it is in the winter. Here we've got a little weasel, and there it is in the winter. And we've got caribou in the warm months. And then this isn't a very good picture. I'd love to find a better one. This is what they look like in the winter. And then this is an Arctic tern. It's a bird. And this is what it looks like in the winter. So it's just pretty cool just to share that with the kids. And they're fascinated by them. So all I did with this was I looked up images on Google. And I printed them out, glued them to some construction paper, and laminated them. So I just laminated them on the same piece, just one on one side, one on the other. And I'm very theatrical when I show the kids, like, ooh, look at this. This is what it looks like in the winter. Amazing. In my lesson plan, I have a lot of penguin stuff. And this is which penguin is different. And these are hard. These are really hard. I have a lot of which is different games. This one is definitely the hardest. So you got to look at the 4 pictures and pick whichever one is different. And since the penguins have so many similarities, here's me with my upside down, you guys. I've really got to figure that out. It was really fun to make these because they were so similar, but yet just a hair off. So these are a lot harder for the kids than some of my other things. So this is actually a pretty good assessment tool to see where they are with their observational skills. Another thing that's in my lesson plan that I have really come to use and enjoy is just, I made a little fun facts about polar animals. They're each animal gets a half sheet. I print them off, cut them in half, put a little hole in the corner, and fix them with a binder ring. But here's my cover, and then I've got 5 facts about emperor penguins, about orcas, snowy owls, reindeer, Arctic hares, Arctic fox, and of course polar bears. So it's pretty much all the animals that we love the most and that are the most popular for the kids. So they absolutely love these, and we'll do like a little, oh gosh, I kind of ask them what they know, and then we'll go into our 5 facts so that we're learning some more things. And plus, we always learn something new from the kids, don't we? They know so many things about animals and dinosaurs. It's almost ridiculous how smart they are these days. I wish I was half as smart as them. One activity that I just made up last year because our letter of the week was R during my Polar Animal Week, and I didn't like what I had planned, so I totally threw this together last minute. But I just used a lot of different brown strips for antlers. I cut out like a little face shape. We glued on googly eyes, but we just made a really quick reindeer. And I thought, oh, this is a stupid activity, but I didn't like what I had planned. The kids ended up loving this. This is my example. It's terrible, but the kids really put a lot of work into it. They spent so much time on their reindeer, and it ended up being one of the best centers of my whole week. So I don't know. You never know what's going to happen. Okay, this is my last craft, and it is my all-time favorite. After I show them the animals that change during the winter, we make an Arctic hare in the snow. So what I do is I have little cotton balls out for the tail. I cut a little nose and eyes and some ears. The kids just get white paint and a paintbrush, and they just spread it all over the page. Then, no glue, nothing like that. They just stick the pieces to the wet paint, and we let it dry, and it makes a super cute bulletin board. And it just kind of shows how there's all this snow, but the only thing that you can see is their little eyes and nose. But those are just what I do for Polar Animals Week. It's not a lot. All the crafts that I do are super, super easy, super low prep, but they're fun. Whenever the kids are making any kind of animal, they have a wonderful, wonderful time. So one other thing that I would suggest, because I've done this with just a lot of different units, is make animal pictures, kind of like my cards that you see here, but maybe do fourth a sheet. Ooh, sorry, let me show the Arctic animal side. So maybe do like a fourth of a sheet. Cut your sheets in fourths of your animals. So there would be 4 animals to a sheet. I don't know what I'm saying, but because I think I'm actually going to do this for my Polar Animal Week. And then cut them out. Put a little Velcro button on the back or some tape. Tape them around the hall outside your classroom, or even some inside your classroom if your classroom is big enough. Give them a clipboard and a little checkoff sheet. Like, make it with that same little picture, but maybe make them thumbnail size and make a little checkoff sheet. Give them a marker and a clipboard, and they have to go on a hunt and find all the polar animals. That's always a favorite thing for my kids to do. If I end up making that little kit, I guess, that little checkoff kit, I will put a little link in this description. It might not be here today, but look for it, because if I make it, I'll just put it in my Dropbox and give you guys a link to that little activity, and you'll see what I mean, and you'll love it. But it will be super easy to make yourself too. Anyway, thanks so much for listening. Hope you have a great rest of your break. Hey, it's me again. I forgot something. I was going through my lesson plan box for polar animals, and I've talked about Yeti Day in some of my other videos, but this is what we do for Yeti Day. We do color your Yeti. I just found this cute clip art and just made it like a coloring sheet. So here's boy Yeti and girl Yeti. They choose if they want to do a boy or a girl. These are the examples that my aide made. She's quite the little artist, but this is Yolanda and Fernando. And we just tell them a little bit like, oh, Yolanda really likes to go shopping, and she has a little pet dog named Fifi. She likes to wear high heels and makeup. And then Fernando loves to play baseball and soccer and just whatever we can think. So then they color either a girl Yeti or boy Yeti, and they name it, and they kind of talk about different things about their Yeti. And then we do a little Yeti show and tell when everyone's finished before we go outside. And what's really cute is that they are so excited to talk about their Yeti. It's like their Yeti is their best friend. It's adorable, but it also fulfills a good speaking and listening standard. So, I always did that with my principal. She came in and she was like, what are you doing? I'm like, we're coloring Yetis, but it fits our speaking and listening standard, because she was very into making sure that we were following standards and not just having a good time in our classroom. But you can follow standards and have a really good time in your classroom. So just wanted to share that with you. And if you want the template for this, just shoot me an email, leave me a message in the comments, and I'll send you the templates.